Who dares to leak the secret CCTV of Jungkook's house? A shocking fact is revealed. A HYBE employee mysteriously disappeared after the identity of the leaker began to be revealed. But what does this have to do with Taeil being recorded going into Jungkook's room? And why does Jungkook look calm when he is allegedly furious? Is this engineering? Or is it a silent act of revenge from the golden magne? Jungkook's home CCTV leak identity revealed. This HYBE employee suddenly disappeared after a video of Taeil entering Jungkook's room went viral. What really happened behind the CCTV footage showing Kim Taeil breaking into Jungkook's private room? Is this just a moment between two friends? Or is there something much bigger, darker, and more shocking going on behind the scenes of HYBE? And who actually leaked the footage to the public? Everyone was shaken. Army around the world froze when a video leaked to social media. Footage taken from the internal CCTV system at Jungkook's private home. Yes, his private home. Unexpectedly circulated widely on Twitter, TikTok, to the dark forums of the K-pop underground community. But what makes it all the more confusing is not just the content of the video, but Jungkook's own reaction. Why does he look so calm? Isn't he angry? Or is that a sign that he is angry? In the footage, it is clearly visible that Taeil, in a dark hoodie, without a mask, without hesitation entered Jungkook's room. No knock, no cue. There was no sign that this was an anticipated visit. And the expression on Jungkook's face that was recorded from the reflection of the glass in the room. Not an ordinary expression, not a smile, not surprised, but more like suppressed tension, as if he already knew this would happen. Or rather, it has happened too often, but the most astonishing thing is not what is in the video, but the fact that the video is in the hands of the public, and HYBE, quiet. Very quiet. During the first 48 hours since the leak, there was not a single official statement from the agency. No clarification, no apology, no legal steps. In fact, this is a high-level invasion of privacy against their main artist. This is not just a scandal. This is a potential career ruin. Then all of a sudden, an employee of HYBE security was reported missing, not resigned. Not a holiday, but disappeared without news, without a trace, without access again to all the internal systems of HYBE. His name was never made public, but various internal sources said that he was the only person who had full access to CCTV footage from the homes of the artists, including Jungkook. Is he the culprit? Or was he removed? This question began to smolder among fans and the South Korean public, mainly because of one fact that is very difficult to ignore: Jungkook's overly calm reaction. The golden magne, who is known to be full of emotion, was very expressive in front of the camera, suddenly fell silent. Even when asked by reporters to comment at the airport, he only threw a slight smile and said, "Not everything needs to be talked about, but some things do have to be visible." What does that mean? Did Jungkook allow the video to leak? Or more astonishingly, did Jungkook himself orchestrate this leak? This question is not without foundation. Because if we trace Jungkook's emotional patterns over the past 2 months, it becomes clear that something is weighing on his mind. Some army started putting together a timeline, and they found it surprising. 3 weeks before the video leaked, Jungkook had canceled a scheduled live broadcast with Taeil. In his story, he simply wrote, "There are things I want to avoid, but sometimes we have to deal with it." Some thought it was just an ordinary personal affair. But now, with CCTV footage showing Taeil entering Jungkook's room without permission, the context has completely changed. Does Jungkook feel violated? Betrayed? Or is this a tacit form of communication to the public that their relationship, which has long been considered an ideal bromance, has cracked? What makes things even more complicated is the fact that Taeil hasn't said anything either. Even after the video went viral and started getting coverage from the mainstream media, there wasn't a single statement from Taeil's side. Fans are waiting, but there was only one move. Taeil deleted all photos with Jungkook on Instagram, without explanation. No reason. Just gone. Meanwhile, wild theories began to emerge. Some mentioned that the missing HYBE employee was actually just a scapegoat, and the video was released by insiders by unofficial order on the part of the artist herself. The goal? To give a message, to make a statement, to show the truth that has been buried. But if that's true, then we're looking at something much bigger than just a privacy scandal. We are witnessing an internal war within the HYBE system, and if it's true that Jungkook is angry, as some of his closest staff behind the scenes say, Jungkook is not angry. But he's the type who gets angry in silence, and that's actually the scariest. Then this video leak is not just about Taeil, but about the whole structure that let that happen. Is this the beginning of Jungkook's silent rebellion against the HYBE system? Is Taeil the victim or the mastermind? And who is the HYBE employee who suddenly disappeared? Is he hiding out of fear? Or is he just being protected for knowing too much? This news is not finished. The story is still developing. But one thing is certain, the tape can never be undone. His tracks have been embedded in the internet forever. And the wounds are rising from that moment, between Jungkook, Taeil, and a huge system called HYBE, maybe deeper than we all thought. Just one last question that no one has been able to answer yet. Is this really a leak, or a revenge plan that Jungkook himself has been preparing? But is that all? Is it enough to explain everything by calling this leak a system crash? Is it really just one person who can leak CCTV footage from the private property of a star like Jungkook? The new facts shook again. Hours after news of a HYBE staffer's disappearance spread on online forums, one of the anonymous accounts known as Korean entertainment industry whistleblowers, an account with the username Midnight Eye, posted something that left netizens holding their breath. You think the CCTV was leaked for no reason? You think Jungkook doesn't know his house has a built-in camera? You think he doesn't know who goes in and out every night? Then why do you think he let that happen? Because it's not about who goes into whose room, but who has entered too often uninvited, and who finally can't take it anymore. Instantly, speculation turned into a conspiracy. The sentence didn't say the name right away, but everyone knew where it was going. Taeil, the man who for many years became a friend, best friend, even called half-soul Jungkook by hardcore fans. But if it was that close, why didn't Jungkook react at all when his privacy was invaded? Why did he look so calm, as if he welcomed the disaster like an afternoon breeze? One internal source claims that the CCTV of Jungkook's home was not only installed by HYBE's management, but also by a private team requested directly by Jungkook's family as a protective measure from the intrusion of stalkers, sasaengs, and even unexpected visitors who come too often late at night. And this is where the real bomb went off. Due to a long search by the international investigative fan community, it was found that over the past 6 months, Taeil was recorded more than 9 times entering Jungkook's residence without a clear schedule or collaborative activities. No filming, no rehearsals, no projects. What was Taeil doing there? And the question becomes much deeper. Has all this been known to Jungkook and yet detained? To some extent, emotions began to flare up among the fans. Some consider this a form of personal betrayal that has been covered up by their friendship image. But others see it differently. Perhaps this is precisely Taeil's desperation, trespassing, no communication, because he feels his relationship with Jungkook is different. It's not what it used to be. And maybe, he just wants to feel that lost closeness again, but the wrong way, still wrong, and Jungkook didn't speak. But it is precisely from that silence, all the more noisy. Because of Jungkook's silence, we can see a hidden message that goes much deeper than just words. It's not just holding back anger. It controls the direction that and in an interview with an international magazine 2 months before the leak, Jungkook was asked about trust. And the short answer now feels like a prophecy. Trust is like glass. You can fix it after it breaks, but you can still see the crack. Was he referring to someone? Or is it something that's broken in your heart? Several eyewitnesses from their close environment revealed that after the leaked video incident, Jungkook refused to attend 2 important internal BTS meetings that Taeil also attended. It was even rumored that he asked that their schedules not be put together for a while. We're talking about 2 friends who used to be inseparable, now can't be in the same room, and as if that wasn't enough, a new account appeared on Instagram. It contains only one post, the same piece of CCTV, but in a different angle. In the footage, it's clear how Jungkook is standing right in front of the mirror as Taeil walks in, as it were, waiting, but not waiting with a smile. Not waiting to say hello. Instead of waiting for someone so that he can prove what he has been suspected of, then why did the video leak? Is it a message of revenge, or just a request for help? One fan put it this way: sometimes, you can only give yourself a voice when no one else is listening to you. And in Jungkook's case, perhaps the camera is the only witness who never lies. HYBE, in his first official statement after a full week of silence, did not deny the existence of the video. Neither confirm nor deny. They simply stated that legal action is being prepared for the invasion of privacy against their artists, and all parties involved will be acted upon. But who are all those parties? They don't say names. It's not clear who the legal target is, the video leaker, the spreader, or even the perpetrator in the video itself, and the missing HYBE employee. Still not found. But rumors have grown stronger that he has been given emergency protection to prevent sensitive information he knows from falling into the hands of the media. Then what is really being hidden? Or rather, what is being prepared for subsequent detonation? Because according to information from a source close to HYBE, who did not want to be named, there is more than one video. And what we see now is just the most safe part of the whole record. If true, then the public sees only 10% of the truth. And the other 90%? Still locked up. Still waiting for momentum. It can still appear at any time, and if that happens, what will remain of Taeil and Jungkook's friendship? Are we witnessing the end of 2 best friends, or just the beginning of a revelation that could shake the entire foundation of their agency? One thing is becoming clear: Jungkook may be silent, but his silence is now the loudest voice, and the public won't stop asking, who is the real mastermind behind the video? Did Taeil really not know he was being recorded, or did he just know and ignore it? And is this just the beginning of a much deeper emotional war than we imagine? How can someone who is known as a symbol of passion, smile, and tenderness suddenly become a figure full of mystery that shakes the world with just one silent video? Jungkook never spoke. But somehow, the world actually feels like it hears everything from its silence. Did I end the viral video? He said nothing. Just stand up. He stared straight into the mirror, as if he knew that everything would be recorded, like being aware that the world will see, and from that will understand. But does the world really understand? Or are we all just putting together a puzzle out of pieces that are too vague to believe? One thing is undeniable: Jungkook's expression in the tape is not an ordinary expression. That's not a surprise. Not an angry outburst, but more like a disappointment that has been buried for too long. the expression of a person who has already crossed the last line of his trust. And it is that for the first time since this news emerged, a staff member from the BTS environment, who works in the production of their documentary content, has finally spoken anonymously. In a fully protected exclusive interview, he said in a heavy voice, "You don't know what's going on behind the camera. There's a lot going on, a lot they'll never say in public. But trust me, Jungkook has been silent for too long. And if he seems calm today, it's not because he's not angry. Because he was too tired to be angry." That sentence struck hard into the heart of anyone who read it. What exactly has Jungkook experienced? Has his friendship with Taeil always been one way? Are there personal boundaries that are constantly being violated by the person he should trust the most? Many fans speculated that the incident that night was not the first time Taeil had entered Jungkook's room without permission. Some even found evidence from old vlogs and behind the scenes, where Jungkook was clearly uncomfortable as Taeil broke into his private space. But everything used to be laughed at. It's a joke. Now, all revised. All are rewatched with different glasses. What used to be considered funny now looks like a neglected warning. One of BTS's biggest fanbase accounts in Korea posted this sentence. "We used to laugh when we saw Taeil hugging Jungkook suddenly from behind. We thought it was funny. But if someone does it constantly despite being given uncomfortable cues, is it still called funny? Or are we just laughing at another form of personal transgression wrapped in the friendship goals label?" This comment got more than 300,000 retweets in 5 hours. Netizens' reactions were divided. Some defended Taeil desperately. Some are beginning to realize that their relationship may not be as ideal as they have always believed. But one thing is indisputable: Jungkook never played with his emotions. And if today he does not say anything, it is precisely because his feelings are too deep to be explained, especially after one other fact was revealed. Jungkook decided to lock all the automatic doors of his house with the latest facial verification system, just 3 days before the CCTV video leaked. This step invites questions. Why so sudden? Why only now? One of the smart home system security personnel who took care of Jungkook's home installation without naming names stated that he received a request directly from the artist with a very specific sentence. "I just want to make sure no one else can come in without me knowing. Even the ones I know best." The sentence pierced like a knife, because that means even the one I know best is the one he no longer trusts the most. And all this made the public wonder, what exactly happened between them? Is it just a matter of privacy being violated? Or are there more complex feelings? Jealousy, loss, unappreciation, or even a sense of being trapped in a relationship that one party keeps putting pressure on the other? Because one thing is starting to become clear. Taeil doesn't argue. He's not defending himself. Did not release a statement. He hasn't been seen in public since the video went viral. Even more disturbing is that, while everyone was talking about the video, Taeil posted a sad song on his story and deleted it within 10 minutes. The song was titled, "You Don't See Me," with the lyrics, "I knock, I enter, I stay. But now you've locked the door, and I don't know the way." Is this a silent confession from Taeil? Does he finally realize that he has crossed the line too far, and now can't go back? Meanwhile, the other BTS members looked on, awkward. In a brief interview with J-Hope and RM at a fashion show, when asked about their recent togetherness, both looked confused. J-Hope chuckled a little. RM turned the conversation around. And when asked directly, "Are Jungkook and Taeil okay?" they only answered in unison. Everyone needs time. Answers that seem to hold more stories than they can tell. And here we are, in the midst of an emotional storm involving two of the biggest figures in K-pop history. Amid the confusion between a friendship that may already be fractured, a trust that may already be broken, and a silence that holds more wounds than words, is this the end of the Jungkook-Taeil duo we know? Or is this the beginning of a new phase, more honest, more humane, albeit painful? And most importantly, are we really ready to accept the fact that not everything that seems close means really trust each other? How can someone who is known as a symbol of passion, smile, and tenderness suddenly become a figure full of mystery that shakes the world with just one silent video? Jungkook never spoke. But somehow, the world actually feels like it hears everything from its silence. I end the viral video. He said nothing. Just stand up. He stared straight into the mirror, as if he knew that everything would be recorded, like being aware that the world will see, and from that will understand. But does the world really understand? Or are we all just putting together a puzzle out of pieces that are too vague to believe? One thing is undeniable. Jungkook's expression in the tape is not an ordinary expression. That's not a surprise. Not an angry outburst. But more like a disappointment that has been buried for too long. The expression of a person who has already crossed the last line of his trust. And it is that for the first time since this news emerged, a staff member from the BTS environment, who works in the production of their documentary content, has finally spoken anonymously. In a fully protected exclusive interview, he said in a heavy voice, "You don't know what's going on behind the camera. There's a lot going on, a lot they'll never say in public. But trust me, Jungkook has been silent for too long. And if he seems calm today, it's not because he's not angry. Because he was too tired to be angry." That sentence struck hard into the heart of anyone who read it. What exactly has Jungkook experienced? Has his friendship with Taeil always been one way? Are there personal boundaries that are constantly being violated by the person he should trust the most? Many fans speculated that the incident that night was not the first time Taeil had entered Jungkook's room without permission. Some even found evidence from old vlogs and behind the scenes, where Jungkook was clearly uncomfortable as Taeil broke into his private space. But everything used to be laughed at. It's a joke. Now, all revised. All are rewatched with different glasses. What used to be considered funny now looks like a neglected warning point. One of BTS's biggest fanbase accounts in Korea posted this sentence. "We used to laugh when we saw Taeil